before you start learning AWS. Stop. Seriously. What you're about to learn could save you months of confusion, frustration, and wasted hours on YouTube tutorials that go nowhere. Because here's the truth, most people learn AWS the wrong way. Not because it's too technical, but because nobody explains it in a language normal humans understand. Stay with me for the next 5 minutes. By the end, you'll know exactly how to learn AWS the smart way, not the painful way. When I first opened the AWS console, it felt like walking into a cockpit full of 1,000 blinking buttons. Everything was glowing. Everything looked important. Everything felt like, what if I click the wrong thing? Does everything break? Will AWS charge me? And if you're feeling that right now, good. It means you're normal. AWS is huge. Over 200 services. Documentation longer than some people's college degrees. Tutorials that contradict each other. But the biggest problem? Most beginners don't know where to start, so they start everywhere. And that's why they quit. Today, I'll fix that for you. Here's your first mindset shift. AWS is not a course. It's not something you complete like a school subject. AWS is more like a giant supermarket. There are 200 aisles. But beginners try to walk into every aisle on day one and end up overwhelmed, holding nothing. You don't need the whole store. You only need the basics, the ingredients that every real AWS project uses. These are your starter kit services. EC2 literally means computer server in the cloud. S3, storage for files. IAM, permissions and security VPC, your private network Lambda run code automatically RDS/DynamoDB, databases load balancers, handle traffic CloudWatch, monitoring everything you see online, fancy architectures. DevOps pipelines and machine learning is built on top of these. Master these 10 to 12 building blocks and AWS stops being scary. A lot of beginners make this mistake. They jump straight into the AWS dashboard and start clicking. Console EC2 click. What did I just do? AWS can feel overwhelming because you're seeing buttons before you understand the ideas. Let's simplify AWS using real-life analogies. EC2 is just a computer. Nothing more. Nothing less. S3 is a digital storage room. Imagine Google Drive, but way more powerful. Lambda is like paying an electrician only when the lights are turned on. You only pay when your code runs. Efficacy is your private neighborhood. Only certain cars are allowed in. See what happened here? With the right analogy, the complexity disappears. If you understand the what and why, the how becomes easy. This is where most beginners sabotage themselves. They jump straight into certifications because it feels like progress. Flashcards, exam dumps, 200 practice questions, and zero understanding. Certifications are great, but not first. You wouldn't take a driving exam before ever touching a steering wheel, right? Instead, do this. Pick a tiny project, build it, break it, fix it, repeat. This creates muscle memory for AWS, the type of learning that certifications can't give you. Once you've built a few hands-on things, then take the certs. You'll pass faster and retain more. This is the trap that keeps beginners stuck. The AWS console shows you how to create something, but it doesn't tell you why you should create it. For example, why do we need IAM roles? Why does all architecture use S3? Why is VPC the invisible backbone of AWS? Without understanding the why, you'll only know how to copy tutorials, not build solutions. Once you learn the purpose behind each service, AWS becomes logical, predictable, even fun. The beginner mistake, trying to build a huge, complicated architecture. Don't do that. You'll drown. Instead, build micro projects, tiny things that teach big lessons. Here are the best ones to start with. Host a simple static website on S3, launch an EC2 instance, and SSH into it. Build a Lambda function that sends you an email, create an RDS database, and connect to it. Deploy a 2-tier app with EC2 plus RDS. These tiny projects stack like Legos. Piece by piece, service by service, your AWS knowledge becomes unstoppable. Micro projects give you confidence, and confidence keeps you learning. So before you start learning AWS, remember, heavy check mark AWS isn't something you finish. Heavy checkmark understand concepts before touching the console. Heavy checkmark don't start with certifications. Heavy checkmark learn the why, not just the buttons. Heavy checkmark builds small projects that stack into big skills. If this helped you, you're already ahead of 90% of beginners. So before you hit that Start Learning AWS button, follow these steps and save yourself months of frustration. Hit like if this helped and subscribe for more cloud tips.